We're going to start with the volleyball teams, then we'll go through the inductees, and we eat right through the presentation. We'll take a short break after the first couple so everybody can eat, and then we'll go from there. So it should be a nice night. At this time, if everyone's ready out there, current coach, Mr. Paul Tatro. Mr. Sean Maloney. Mr. Cody Bay. Mr. Mike McGovern. Mr. Ollie Palmer. Ms. Beth Sturgeon. Ms. Stacy Levine. And behind the screen we have tonight Coach Aaron Thomas, Ms. Diane Hemingway-Adinen, and Mr. Keith Kenyon, yes. At this time, we would like to introduce the two volleyball teams being inducted tonight. First, from the boys team, Mr. Matt Wild. Mr. Corey Mack. And Coach Mike Harrington. For our girls tonight, we have Miss Cheryl Whitehead Brock, Jennifer Franco, Meg Henselman Splitter, Kathy Fisher Kelly, and Christina Tamarelli. We also have Coach sporting a different dude in her picture, Miss Julie McGuire. And now for our inductees this evening. First, we have Mr. Brett Utley. Miss Erica Cohen. Mr. David Dorico. Ms. Samantha Morel. Mr. Jeff Hammons. Ms. Jill Novosad. Ms. Leslie Buckley. Coach Kevin Gormley. At this time, I'd like to introduce the former president, the current president of the Booster Club. I thought you just got fired. Mr. Chris Madoyan.
Howie is our current athletic director, Howie Hay. Thank you all for coming tonight. You know, the Booster Club is honored to be a part of this great tradition. And it's a little intimidating for me to be up here speaking because there's so many, what I'll call great past presidents that are here in the room tonight. Jerry Leonard, Jack Pine, Mike McGovern, Tom Cesaro, Vin Sayati, and Ann Lipson. So, you know, they all preceded me. done a great job. Take a blueprint for what you do. And whoever set this booster club up years ago did a phenomenal job, because to today I still get phone calls from other schools looking to set up a booster club and run it in a similar fashion. So this is kind of a role model for a lot of programs around the state. So kudos to everybody that preceded me and everyone else. And there's a lot of you in the room. I see past treasurers, and I think Fred and Maureen McDermott still getting mail to the booster club that they forward to me. You know, one of the things that we'll continue to work on is reaching out to past inductees, alumni, the teams. That was probably the most difficult thing we had to try and reach out. You know, people move, we lose track of you. And that's our goal, is to try and improve that as we move forward with the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. You know, your accomplishments are impressive. To review the people that we consider and to hear everything that all of these people have accomplished throughout their careers is pretty impressive. You know, my kids are a little younger than some. I do have a junior in college, and my younger son is a junior in high school. So I didn't get to see everyone that is being honored tonight. But in true Rhode Island fashion, I seem to have some connection. Erica Kerwin, I've eaten at your parents' restaurant quite a bit. She'll notice that my son Matt had your mom as a teacher back in the day. Sam Morrell, I didn't play golf, I have 3 boys, but Coach Marcone actually entered Pilgrim High School my senior year, so not to make you feel old, Coach. Brett Utley, your father has forwarded the information that he's received for the Booster Club, so he's still connected. Jeff Cammons, I did get to see some of your baseball games. Dave DeRico, I mentioned you before, you know, I was president of the NK Jaguars. We used to bring the kids to the games to watch at the high school. And, you know, one of the memory that I still remember is their senior year, they were playing Hendricken. We brought the Jaguars to that game. I think it was actually a Halloween game. I know that because I looked it up today. And we were all in the end zone when Dave scored. I think he had 4 touchdowns. One, I think, was like a 78-yard run. So kids were quite excited that night to do that. Kevin Gormley, I got to see you coach a number of games. I also had the pleasure of playing in some men's rec basketball. If anybody ever played against Kevin, I don't know if I'd call it a pleasure. As competitive he was in the dugout, he was on the field. And Leslie Buckley, got to know you a little more working on the Hall of Fame committee that she serves on. But in my first interaction was when she worked with Keith back in the day when I was with the Jaguars. You know, I got started bringing kids to the camp. And I thought I had made it way back when Keith asked me to work at the football camp. Unbeknownst to me when I showed up that day, that I was working with the 6- and 7-year-olds, so Keith could go out and work with his high school kids. But those are memories that stick with a lot of us. I think my sons still talk about the games of razzle-dazzle that took place at the end of those games. And yes, Coach Rogers, I remember you were a star during those games. I want to thank all the members of the Hall of Fame committee that are here tonight. You know, Ed Andrews came to the Booster Club about 4 years ago looking to kind of revive the Hall of Fame. They've been in a little hiatus since 2009. We welcomed Ed, we brought him on to the Booster Club board. His daughter graduated in 2013, and Ed still serves on the board as that liaison to the Hall of Fame committee. But he brought along with him Jack Pine, Mike McGovern, Aaron Thomas, Pat Hanrahan, Bob Myers, Mike Diamond, Leslie Buckley, and Howie Haig. And all these people, you know, it's a little weird to let you all know. They know a lot about your athletic accomplishments. And probably more than some of you remember you participated in. But they are great. I want to thank Tim Healy and Mike McDonough who are taking video and photographs of tonight. So you folks can all remember this. You know, I'd be remiss in saying, send out my condolences to family and friends of Coach Fitz, but I will let others who knew her more speak to that effect. So I want to say thank you. Thanks to Mrs. Pine for the nice boutonnieres and corsage, I guess however you call it, and I'm done. So back to Howard. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris. I'd also like to thank everyone as well for helping put this on without going into too much detail. Chris hit everything right on the head. So I'm going to start just by saying, welcoming everyone. I want you to know this is our 20th anniversary of the Hall of Fame. It was started 20 years ago by Booster Club president at the time, Jack Hine and Keith Kenyon. So this was kind of their vision, and I'm proud to be a part to help keep it going. So you guys have some great accomplishments in this room to celebrate tonight. Whether you're an athlete, coach, or community member, you're being inducted because you're truly something special to our community. It's very humbling to stand in front of all of you tonight that have affected so many lives, not just your own, but your families, the fans, the students at the school. It's really impressive. At this time, I want to introduce the person who's responsible for most of the successes, certainly athletic and community in this room, for over the past 30 years. He was the athletic director at Kingstown High School for 20 years. I thought it would be very fitting for Keith Kenyon to start the night tonight because he has such a great connection to all of you. But we're also going to start with a special tribute to Coach Fitz, which I thought would definitely be something that he could speak to, being an athletic director with her for so many years. So I also want to pass on my condolences, but don't want to take anything away from Keith's speech. Keith is also going to introduce the volleyball team and the teams underneath Keith as well. So let's start the night with going back in the past a little bit with athletic director Mr. Keith Kenyon.
Thank you, Howie. It's good to see so many of you again. It's been a long time, and it's great to see so many smiling faces. And I have fond memories of North Kingstown and the things that we all did in this room together to make this the best athletic program in the state of Rhode Island. So congratulations to everybody in the school. We get to celebrate the success of some individuals and teams tonight, so it's a great walk down memory lane for all of us. And it's good to see familiar faces and see some people, and unfortunately we don't change a whole bunch, but the kids get a little bit older. It's hard to recognize some of these kids that are now in their 30s and 40s, so they have to introduce themselves to us as we get older. I think tonight's class of Hall of Fame might be the finest ever. From top to bottom, this is an unbelievable class of athletes and teams. If you look at it, the number of kids that went on to play either at the Division I or the Division II level full scholarship, this is a quality class we have here tonight. And it's great to be able to watch them tonight and take their place in this prestigious Hall of Fame and join the other people that you met earlier tonight. Just on a personal note, because all these teams and these kids were here, obviously, during the time that I was the athletic director, Brett Utley he remained close to this day. He was the best soccer player I ever saw in high school. I've been watching it for 30-something years, and there was no finer, and you couldn't see it. You couldn't see anybody who could control a soccer game in the middle of the field like Brett Utley. He could completely control the game in the middle of the field. He's a class act. He went on to play at the University of Rhode Island, and now he's coaching the sport that he loves so much. So congratulations to Brett Utley again. I'll never forget the first time that I met Erica Kerwin and Casey Devine when they walked into the gym and said, "Hallelujah, basketball has come." And Erica Kerwin was a special athlete as a basketball player and a volleyball player at our school, and then obviously went on to Bentley and had a phenomenal career, and now living out in California, but a wonderful person. And Eric, I'm really happy you go into this Hall of Fame tonight. Congratulations. Samantha Burrell, if you were around during the time that she played golf for North Kingstown, it was an incredible time because she was a great golfer, but she wasn't a great female golfer. She was a great golfer. She used to kick the snot out of the boys. She was a 4-time All-State selection, did very well in the New England's every year, went on and had an unbelievable career at Old Dominion University. It was great to catch up with her. Sam, congratulations, well deserved. Those of you that ventured over to Licio Field, you got to see Jeff Cammons just rack a baseball for 4 years. He was the starting catcher for 4 years under Coach Wormley. Just a devastating hitter and a great defensive player. And then went out and had a great career at the University of Rhode Island. Bounced back from a season-ending injury in his junior year to hit .349 in his senior year. So Jeff, congratulations, great honor. Jill Novosad was a was only this tall, but she was as tough as anybody. I always wanted her on the football team with her brother because she was as tough as any athlete in our building. And what a dominant field hockey player she was in North Kingstown. She did the same thing at James Madison University. A wonderful young lady who was a great softball player, great basketball player, and a great person. Congratulations, Jill. And the last one, I'm a little bit biased about this one because I'm thrilled that my good friend Kevin Gorman is going in tonight as coach. He put North Kingstown baseball on the map. He dedicated his life to that baseball program and the state of Rhode Island to making a better baseball program. Many of his former players have gone on to play at the highest levels in college baseball in Division 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. And I just can tell you, I told him today in a text message, I love working with Kevin Gorman, and I love the fact that he came to North Kingstown, and I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. This week, unfortunately, the North Kingstown community lost one of its best teachers and coaches. Joanne Fitz left this life after a long battle with breast cancer. She leaves a legacy of excellence as a teacher and a coach, and countless examples of her life's teachings to former students and athletes. I know that she wanted to be here tonight. It was her goal. And she told that surgeon, you can roll me in or I can crawl in, but I'm going to find a way into that room. And unfortunately, the good Lord had other plans for Joanne. I first met her in 1985 in the spring. I got hired in the April vacation of 1985, and her and her volleyball team were painting. Julie McGuire remembers this, the panels in the old girls' gym. Because the sun used to come in from that end and was blinding for practices and games, and Joanne had them up painting north across the 5 panels across the gym. And when I met her that day, I knew she was intense. Well, first of all, when you shake her hand, you know she's intense because she squeezes the blood out of your hand. And when they were working that day, you know, she said to me, and she sized me up. I was a 25-year-old athletic director. It was my first job. I was out of college coaching. It was my first job. And she said to me, what do you think about women's sports? And are you going to stick around this place? Am I going to have to invest any time in you? First of all, I'm a major advocate for Title IX and female opportunities in sports, and I'll be with you side by side to do the things we have to do to make this program better. And I'm not planning on going anywhere for a long time. And that day forward, we became a very close-knit friendship. And then we actually found out that Joanne and I grew up 20 miles from each other in upstate New York. She was from Kingstown High School. I was from Gilman High School, right around the Albany area, and we competed. Our schools were heavy competitors at that time. So we forged a friendship during that time, and through the next 25 years, as you know Joanne as I know her, we hugged, we argued, we cried, we challenged each other, and we worked tirelessly to improve the athletic program. She actually taught me how to make and shoot a potato gun. Anybody shot a potato gun before? At her house in Coventry, she told me how to do this with an igniter off a gas grill with hairspray over the thing of the potato and PVC and fired the sucker for about 50 yards. There was no alcohol involved in that at all. But my favorite times are when we celebrated her championships, and even so much as commiserating over some of her toughest losses because she took them so hard. Her success was no accident. She was a tireless and driven coach that went to any length to motivate her teams and get them to play at the highest level. Let's all agree that she could scare the crap out of you when she got mad. Everybody's seen Joanne Fitz stare when you know she's mad at you, right? Or when the clipboard hits the floor during the timeout. But you know, deep down underneath it, you have a passionate, very loving person. She was a competitor, but also a perfectionist. She willed her teams to play at the highest level, and that they didn't think that they could play at that level. She was a pioneer not only in female sports because of what she did for female sports in Rhode Island, but she also was for boys sports because she started boys volleyball in Rhode Island. But she was really a pioneer because she was the first one really to rock a minivan in those days, remember? Joanne was like the first one to come out full-blown minivan. I think the plates were JF250, right Pat? JF250 was a license plate. She had several minivans. The lessons she taught all of us and her players that are here tonight are never give up, always outwork and outprepare your opponent, and play like it's the last point of every match. And you take these lessons and you use them in your adult lives. There are many here tonight that heard those words and live by them today. When Judy and I moved to the Cape 6 years ago, Joanne and I stayed in close contact and had breakfast together every summer when she and Pat would come to the Cape for vacation. I thoroughly enjoyed those moments, even though I knew she was fighting cancer and failing in health more each year. Each time we parted, I got the Coach Fitz hug that was filled with love. If you've been hugged by Joanne Fitz, you know you've been hugged. She had one of the warmest embraces of any person I've ever met. I want to say thank you, Joanne Fitz, for the example you set for all of us, not only in teaching and coaching, but also in your courageous fight with cancer. If I could ask everyone if you could please stand, and if you could grab your glass. Let's all raise our glasses and salute the life of Joanne Fitz, a pioneer, a teacher, a coach, and a human being that made us all better for being in her presence. You will be missed, Joanne. Salute. Thank you, everyone. The last thing I want to tell you is that Pat is here, Joanne's wife is here tonight for the beginning ceremony. Vicki Taft, her dearest friend, and Amanda, her daughter. And they wanted me to announce tonight that they've started a scholarship in Joanne's name at Centerville Savings Bank on West Main Street here in North Kingstown. And it'll be for future North Kingstown volleyball players. Donation to be We get to see 4 volleyball teams that had an unbelievable run. You know, 2 boys and 2 girls. We're going to get to hear from the coaches tonight that worked under Coach Joanne Fitz. And first person I'd like to introduce to you tonight was the boys volleyball assistant coach at the time. They won those 2 championships. And he's a longtime head coach at Bishop Henderson. Please welcome Mike Carrington.
So my name is Mike Carrington. I was a player under Joanne Fitz and also the assistant coach for the 91 and 92 state championship teams. And boy, was it a great time to be a volleyball player, coach, or fan back in the early 90s. We had great success with our girls programs and also great success with the boys programs. And, you know, following Keith here, I don't know who put me behind Keith here, but I'm going to talk to that person. But, you know, this night is also bittersweet, you know, for me. Joanne and I were also close as a former coach and someone I coached with. You know, but the reason for the success, both girls and boys in the early 90s, was Joanne Fitz. Very simple. And Keith mentioned Joanne was very intense. And all of us in the room that have played for Joanne can attest to that. But she had this great competitive fire that just rubbed off on all of her players. And I'm not talking about the normal competitiveness that every coach should have. You know, I'm talking about, you know, witnessing Coach Fitz tackle Coach Thomas going after a loose ball in a friendly pickup game of basketball. You know, Coach Fitz also gave us another lesson to be part of something great, to be part of a great sports team or anything great in life. It just required your full effort all of the time. You know, there was no partial credit for partial effort. It was full effort all of the time. And this was the foundation that she provided, you know, both of these sports teams. And it really led to the teams reaching these terrific levels. So we all owe Coach Fitz a great, you know, thank you, you know, for the lessons that she taught us. And the 91 team was certainly no exception. The 91 team is so worthy of this award. And 91 was a long time ago. You know, but we have to do the math to figure out how old, you know, some of us are. But the 91 team, boys team, the boys volleyball had only been around for a few years. But in 91, a great collection of boys athletes found volleyball and fell in love with the sport. And sort of, you know, at that time, volleyball was played by, you know, girls around the state, and people were sort of unsure, is it a girls' sport, is it a boys' sport? But the great collection of athletes we had with that 91 and 92 team, you know, really made an exciting, you know, opportunity for boys volleyball. You know, in the room we have Corey Mack, who was a captain on that 91 team. We have Matt Wilde, also a member of that 91 team. So it was certainly a great way to put, you know, boys volleyball on the map. You know, just to recap that season they had, They had strength in every position. They were so talented athletically. They had strength in every position. And it was under the leadership of Coach Fitz that kept them motivated and driven. And they had a worthy opponent in the finals back in '91. Coventry High School down the road also had this super talented team. But again, I think it was really under the foundation that Joanne built that allowed that team to sort of get to the finals and knock off Coventry that night. The '92 team, Coach Fitz led her team to the championship match again, up against legendary Coach Lou Cavallo from East Providence. And another worthy opponent, but again, Coach Fitz had that team prepared to play, and they knocked off East Providence in that second boys championship. So on behalf of Corey and Matt in the room and everyone else from that 91 and 92 boys team, I want to say thank you to North Kingstown for the honor, and congratulations to all the former inductees and the current inductees tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. I actually played volleyball myself, not that you guys care, but we won a state championship back in 1989, and you can tell I barely stood over this podium, so I wasn't very good. But the connection to the story is the following year I became a senior and we graduated all our guys that looked like those guys, and we're left with people like me. And we went and played North Kingstown. It was my first introduction to Coach Fitz, and I didn't know her at the time. But I actually knew her wife Pat. I used to babysit for her and her daughter. So there was this connection, that I knew her. Well, my father said to me after the game, "Why was that coach so angry? They beat you 15-1, 15-0." And I said she told her team that if they scored 1 point after losing the year before, they were going to take a different bus home. So that was my first introduction to Coach Fitz. So it's nice to see it. At this time, I'd like to invite the girls from the volleyball teams to please come up to the podium. You guys can come up while Coach Julie McGuire gives your induction speech. So if you girls would like to come up and stand next to Julie, that would be great.
I have to start by clarifying a few parts of the story. The first is, I'm sure Mike could attest to, that clipboard that got thrown, Mike and I scampering to pick it up at the next time out. And Keith, when we were painting that north on the gym wall, it was the player's idea. And what ended up happening is none of us were tall enough. If you knew Joanne Fitz, Joanne had finished the top of every letter because none of us could read. It is my honor to present this induction speech on behalf of our dear coach, Joanne Fitz. I had the pleasure of playing for Joanne in the 1980s and then serving as her assistant coach. To some of us, she was our coach. To others, a colleague and a mentor. But to all of us, she was our friend. As John Wooden best said, a good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life. Joanne has changed the lives of nearly all of us in the room through her motivation, enthusiasm, passion for the sport of volleyball, and most importantly, for her compassion. We learn to strive for excellence by always putting our best effort forth, whether it be at practices or games. We cried, we laughed, and we were reprimanded when we made mistakes. In the end, however, Joanne's arms were always open for a very big bear hug. We wanted to work hard, not only for ourselves, but also for Joanne. In the 1980s, Tollgate, who was coached by Gail Davis, another well-respected coach and friend of Joanne's, was the team to beat in girls volleyball. In fact, in 3 of the 4 years preceding the 1991 season, North Kingstown had lost to Tollgate in the state finals. Most matches went 5 games and lasted 2.5 hours. As many of us can recall, the games were played at CCRI in Lincoln into the late hours of the night and often into warm conditions because unlike now, volleyball was played in the spring. The rivalry between Tollgate and North Kingstown was so well known that the National Federation even televised the match. It wasn't until the spring of 1991 and 92 when we were able to get the monkey off our backs. The records each season speaks for themselves. The 1991 team, led by Captains Beth Sturgeon and Cheryl Whitehead, finished 17-1. They lost only to the defending state champion, Tollgate, during the regular season. North defeated Pontiac in the quarterfinals and East Greenwich in the semifinals, both by a score of 3-0. The finals proved to be yet another matchup between North and Tollgate. The results this time were different. North defeated Tollgate with scores of 15-11, 9-15, the clipboard was thrown, 15-3, and 15-10. As team member Deb McPhee states, with Coach Fitch at the helm, we were able to do that which no team had done. The North Kingstown girls volleyball team of 1991 brought Joanne Fitz and the entire North Kingstown community its first ever Division I girls volleyball title. The 1991 season was the precursor for the 1992 season. The 1992 team had a perfect regular season finish, 18 straight wins. Of the 18 matches, North won 54 games and only lost 4. By the way, the girls may not know this, but Coach Fitz had me time the matches. So it got to the point, not were we going to win or lose, we knew we were going to win, but how long did it take? The quarterfinals were no different when we cruised to a 3-0 win. The semifinals against Woonsocket were very competitive, and a reminder that in order to be crowned state champions again, the team would have to continually focus and work hard. With a score of 3-2, it was on to the finals. Once again, we were playing Tollgate, but unlike in the regular season, we weren't in the driver's seat. Tollgate led the match 2-1 and had a 10-3 lead in the 4th game. Joanne was forced to call her second and final timeout, and yes, I went scampering for the clipboard. When she reminded the girls that it was do or die, the girls stepped back on the court and ran off 12 unanswered points to tie the match at 2 games each. North Kingstown went on to win the 5th game by a score of 15-7, which gave us our 2nd consecutive state championship. Joanne always emphasized the effort of the entire team. She loved each and every one of the girls. In the words of Stacy Silva Healy, her ability to coach each player differently in order to get them to perform their best was amazing. As best stated by Beth Sturgeon, I can't help but think she's on the sidelines now, waiting for us to run off the court. There, she stands smiling, holding her clipboard, and waiting for us one last time. I have no doubt that Joanne is here tonight and is glowing in the honor of this induction. I am delighted to present the 1991 and 92 girls volleyball teams for induction into the North Kingstown High School Hall of Fame.
Okay, thanks, Coach. At this time, we're going to take a short break and enjoy your dinners, and we'll pick back up in about 15-20 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming to this wonderful event honoring such incredible people. Soccer is not just a game to grab. It's a way of life. From nutrition and fitness to daily living and work ethic, his burning passion for the game has helped him grow into the amazing man that he is. Brett loves playing in games, creating plays, and helping others to be better players were as important to him as scoring goals. He spent hours in the backyard practicing and training. He would practice after team practices. After games, whether they won or lost, Brett would come home and practice what he thought he needed to improve on. Many times after driving 4 or 5 hours home from a weekend tournament, Brett would jump out of the car, put the spotlight on and practice in the yard, in spite of me encouraging him to just relax. Brett grew up watching North Kingstown High School varsity soccer. He couldn't wait to someday represent the school. When Fred and I were touring the school when Brett's sister Laura was in 8th grade, we thought it was a good fit for her. However, we thought it might be too large of a school for Brett, and that perhaps he should consider Kingstown. I told Brett if he continued to study hard, get good grades, and never get into trouble, he could go to North Kingstown High School. 2 years later, when it was time for Brett to choose a high school, he overheard me say that I would like him to take the test for NK. When we were alone, he looked me in the eye and said, "You told me if I continued to study hard, get good grades, and never get into trouble, I could attend North Kingstown High School. I studied hard, I got good grades, I didn't get into trouble, and I'm not going to Henry." Being that was the first and only time Brett raised his voice to me, I thought, North Kingstown High School, here we come. Soccer has taken Brett all around the United States and to other countries. Never did it prevent him from being in touch with the family. Brett calls me almost every day, and the conversation never ends without him asking how I am. He maintains a sense of who he is as a son, a brother, a grandson, a friend, and a teammate. Brett has been blessed to have many wonderful coaches, trainers, and mentors in his life. He has a deep love and respect for them, always keeping in touch. We shared many tears of joy as I watched him run around the field holding the state championship trophy, emotional send-offs at the airport, the excitement of signing a professional contract, and the sadness of watching him train all alone in an empty stadium as he rehabbed from yet another injury. Injuries never held Brett back. They made him more determined. Thank you, Brett, for allowing Dad and I to be a part of your journey. It was, and continues to be, an amazing ride. And now, it is with great pride and much love that I introduce the next inductee to the North Kingstown High School Hall of Fame, my son.
Good evening. To begin, I just wanted to say thank you to North Kingstown High School and the North Kingstown Athletics Booster Club for all their work in preparation for tonight's ceremony. Also, congratulations to all the inductees for all your incredible accomplishments. When I received the news that I was going to be inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame, I was hit with a rush of emotions, as I was fortunate to experience 4 incredible years at North Kingstown High School. As I reflect back on my time at NK, I'm immediately brought back to the first day of tryouts my freshman year. I was anxious, I was nervous, but the upperclassmen took me under their wing and protected me as if I was their little brother. At that moment, I felt the family atmosphere surrounding the NK soccer program. There's a special feeling every athlete gets when they put on their skipper uniform, thanks to the environment Coach Kenyon and Mr. Foley fostered. And to be honored in this way, it means the world to me. Along the way, there have been many people who have supported, inspired, and challenged me on and off the field to be a better person and player. To my mom and dad, thank you for your unconditional love and support. From teaching me about life, encouraging me to follow my dreams. I cannot begin to express what you guys mean to me. The best moment of my time at NK was when I woke up in the morning after we won the state championship to see the sports section, and I was pictured with my mom on the cover of the sports section. Without the two of them being by my side, I would never have the courage to follow my dreams around the world, to places like Sweden, Barcelona, and now Seattle. In our family, we have a slogan that says, "Get it done." And anytime I travel somewhere new, I know that somewhere hidden in my suitcase is a little index card from my dad that says, "Get it done." This time it was tucked in between sheets from my bed in Seattle. And I know that every step of the way, they're always with me. To my sister Laura, thank you for being the best big sister there is. To say you go above and beyond the call of duty is an understatement. I can remember one time when I was trying to break my juggling record in the backyard, and I thought it'd be a great idea to have the attempt on video. The only problem was I didn't have a cameraman. So me being the younger brother, I made the logical decision to go inside and ask Laura to film me. And after a few strange looks, she came outside and did so. At the time she agreed, I don't think she expected to be staying there for about 25 minutes as I go on and set a new personal record. She is the best, and I'm incredibly lucky to be her brother. Growing up, I always knew that regardless of where my games were, I knew that my family and friends would be in the crowd. And tonight is no different. I cannot thank everyone enough for coming and supporting me on this special evening. I was extremely lucky to have my grandparents at all my games. And hugging my two grandmas when I got off the field was one of my favorite moments of the game. Now, if anyone had the phrase, "Come on, Gretzky," screamed in their ear during one of my games. There it is right there. I apologize. But that was Grandpa Kenny being Grandpa Kenny. And when I was on the field, he had a license to do whatever he wished. About 2 years ago, I decided to stop playing the game that I love in order to begin a coaching career. Over the course of my playing days, I was privileged to be coached by some of the best people I know. And from their teachings, they inspired me to get back to the game in the same way they did and continue to do. During my time at NKHS, I was extremely lucky to learn from the best coaches in high school soccer. To Kyle Froberg, Steve Froberg, and Dave Murphy, thank you for all that you did for the program during my 4 years. I think my admiration and appreciation for Kyle, Steve, and Dave is best expressed in the fact that as soon as we won the state championship in 2007, the first people that I went over to hug were my coaches, and then I joined the team after. They meant the world to me, and they still do to this day. I want to also thank my club coaches, Javier Centeno and Carlos Iñakos, and my strength and conditioning coach, Doug Stone. When I was 8 years old, I was recommended to play for a select team out of Warwick. And I was petrified to even attend the training session. Crying like a baby, I ended up attending the training. And thankfully I did, because Javier was the coach. The amount of hours he stayed with me after practice to further teach me the game is not even countable. But more importantly, Javi taught me values and lessons I carry with me to this day. Javi, I can't thank you enough for being a brother to me. Doug, thank you for always challenging me mentally and physically, and always being there for me. Uncle Doug and I spent many hours in the gym together, both in preparation for a new season or to rehab an injury. And through it all, he never allowed me to lose faith or focus that I could accomplish my goal lines. Finally, I want to say thank you to my two best friends, Brian and Ian. I was lucky enough to be teammates with you for 2 seasons, and we experienced many great moments together, including undefeated regular season in 2006. I'd rather not talk about the fact that we lost in the quarterfinals that year. Brian, on the other hand, he doesn't even like soccer. But when I was playing, he made an exception and often battled with Grandpa Kenny for being the loudest person in the stands while wearing a homemade t-shirt that had all my accolades plastered on it. Through thick and thin, they're always there for me, and to share this night with them is incredible. The game of soccer has given me so much, and I hope to continue to help the game evolve for many years to come. Wherever the game takes me, the tradition of North Kingstown athletics will always be with me. Thank you. Our next inductee to the Hall of Fame is Miss Erica Kerwin, and if I could ask her dad, Greg Kerwin, to please come up for her induction speech.
And what an honor to be here tonight. Not only for this Hall of Fame and also because my daughter actually asked me to do the speech. So I'm very pleased and honored to do that. Basketball has been such an important monument in Erica's life. And North Kingstown, this great town that we live in, was an incubator to Erica's success. I want to start with a little known fact that not many people know, but it's very near and dear to me and to Erica. Erica would never have been introduced to basketball if it wasn't for one person, Jerry Devine. God rest his soul, we lost Jerry several years ago, but Jerry was instrumental in Erica's basketball career. He encouraged Erica to play sports. Started off with softball and then moved to basketball. And when he introduced Erica to basketball, she had never even touched a basketball. So imagine this gangly young girl picking up a basketball for the first time. She couldn't even clap with it. She couldn't get her hands when she clapped at it. And to watch her dribble and shoot gave me great pause. And maybe Jerry didn't really know what he was talking about. But he was Erica's greatest champion and greatest supporter and continued to encourage Erica. He did see something that even her parents didn't see. And as we all know now, she's turned out to be a very accomplished basketball player, but if it wasn't for Jerry Devine, she wouldn't be playing basketball at any point in her career. So even though she lacked the skills initially, I give a lot of credit to Jerry for bringing her through her walkie stage, and she actually started to develop a real passion and commitment for basketball. It was this commitment and this perseverance that helped me realize that Erica was going to turn into a special individual, on and off the basketball. As basketball became her passion, her very first involvement in a successful competitive environment was in middle school. The Wickford Middle School girls basketball team won the state championship. And wouldn't you know that the team that they played in the finals to win the state championship was Davisville Middle School. And a known fact that there were three, who's going over here? Oh, Mr. Murray, of course, Casey played on the other team. And another nice thing is two other North Kingstown High School Hall of Famers played in that game. Janelle Avila and Casey Devine, who ended up being Erica's running mate for many, many years to come. But that was Erica's first involvement and first taste of success. Erica then went on to play many years on the same traveling AAU team, which another key milestone occurred in her basketball journey. Again, Jerry Devine intervened and told Erica that she should try out for this elite AAU basketball team. The head coach seemed to be a pretty nice guy, he said. Jerry introduced her to the head coach, and Erica was given a tryout, and of course, she won a spot on the team. Well, this coach was much more than a nice guy. He became a prominent figure that had a significant influence on Erica's life. He coached her in teaching, stressing important things like fundamentals, selflessness, leadership, and really helped Erica and everyone he coached understand what teamwork truly meant. Probably a word that's overused and often misunderstood, but true teamwork is what it took if you were going to play on this coach's team. And it was this AAU experience that truly allowed Erica's basketball passion to formulate into the real skills that she earned and learned on and off the court. And this coach is a nice guy. His name's Rich Love. He's here in the audience today. I just want to thank Rich for everything he's done. Rich has been a long-time advocate of girls basketball with AAU. He's still coaching basketball as the head coach at Portsmouth High School. So Rich, thank you. And Erica was fortunate to play 4 wonderful years here for the Skippers. Years that she'll never forget, years that made all the difference in Erica's life. And you know what? She also went on to play to earn a scholarship at NK College. Wonderful accomplishment. So yes, we are proud of Erica's basketball life, but we're more proud of what she's done with her life off the court. And what she's learned from her experience with basketball. Basketball has provided her with so many life lessons that she now applies to her life off the court. She stays in touch with literally hundreds of basketball contacts that she's met and created over the years, and she's used these contacts for personal support and advancement in her personal life. Erica is now a successful district manager in Taylor, something that her skill set was developed, I firmly believe, in the time that she spent in her athletic career. And there's no doubt in my mind that she's a better person because of her basketball experiences. And my excitement for Erica, my excitement for basketball always was tied to Erica's excitement for basketball. And without a doubt, the biggest outcome in Erica's life with basketball was without basketball, she never would have met the love of her life, her wife, Crystal. So Erica and Crystal, could you please stand up? We love Crystal. We love Erica. We are so thrilled to be here this evening. So it's my honor and my pleasure to introduce my daughter as the next inductee to the North Kingstown Hall of Fame. She brings an iPad.
Thank you, Daddy. So I'm so excited to be here. This is just an awesome honor. I've lived in California for 5 years now, and I've been back in Rhode Island for a week on vacation. It's so strange. Yesterday, my wife Crystal and I were jogging in the town, and we went past our Kingstown High School. Had to go to the bathroom, so we checked all the doors. We snuck in somehow. So yesterday was the first day I've been back in that gym in, gosh, like 8 years. And the memories just rushed back to me like it was yesterday. Being back in that gym was awesome. So I remember game day like it was yesterday. Game day's everything. My teammates over there will remember our sweet, shiny black, ripped sweatpants warm-ups, shiny white North warm-up gear. Right before the game, we're stretching, we're getting in the zone. I'm listening to my headphones with Biggie Smalls, maybe a little Jay-Z. I was real gangster that night. But I remember, honestly, the nervousness, a good nervous energy, the excitement, warming up, and then the adrenaline when the buzzer sounded for the game to start. When my teammates and I put our hands into that huddle, and you just get that feeling like there's nothing like game day, there's nothing like knowing that those girls had my back. I would do anything for them, they'd do anything for me. And there's no one in the world I'd rather be with that team. So Casey, Tara, Leah, the other Casey, it means the world to me that you came tonight. What an awesome team to play on. So nothing will ever compare to that feeling of game day. And the love I had for that game with my teammates was larger than life. What I'm most grateful for during that time period isn't being a good basketball player. It's about being on a team that taught me discipline, focus, and dedication, and humility. I'm grateful for that community that my father was just talking about, and how all of those people in that basketball community shaped me and helped me become a successful individual. I'm grateful for all the coaches growing up. Talking about Rich Glover, he taught us, how to really share the ball, trust your instincts, work as a team, and learn some selflessness. To work as a team. It was such an awesome team we played for. And Mr. Devine, Casey, I wish he was here. His favorite line to me was, "Oh, suck it up, you baby." It didn't matter if I was hurt, sick, not in the mood. I would put on that jersey and give it my all every single game. And to this day, I know I have more mental toughness because he pushed me. My brother, he taught me competition. We played one-on-one basketball for as long as I can remember in the driveway, and he never let me win. I would do everything in my power to compete with him, but his size was an issue. So I had no choice but, to drop my shoulder, hack him, jump on his back, do anything in my power to stop him from scoring. But he made me tough. So he could be the reason I played at a higher level of competitive basketball, and he could also be the reason I fell out of so many games. Thanks, Greg. My parents and grandparents, you guys were beyond supportive. Thank you so much. Mom and Dad brought me to every practice, every AAU tournament, every camp. I can't remember one game they missed all the way from elementary school through college. That means so much to me. And I was lucky enough to receive a top-notch business degree from Bentley because I got a scholarship in basketball. And I attribute that to my parents for all the love and support, so thank you guys. There's a quote I really like. Be the person you needed when you were younger. Be the person you needed when you were younger. I had all of those people I needed when I was younger. I am so blessed, and because of this community that basketball has given me, I have the ability to now impact the lives of others in a special way. So thank you for this induction. It has given me a chance to take a pause from crazy work life and everything that goes on in life and reflect back on such a wonderful part of my life. So this was really, really fun for me. Thank you guys.
At this time, I'd like to bring back up podium Mr. Keith Kent for the induction speech for Mr. Dave Dorico.
Thanks again, Howie. Congratulations, Erica. Nice job. David Dorico was a rare high school athlete. He combined power, finesse, toughness, sportsmanship, athletic ability, and he had a dynamic personality to wrap it all into a nice little bundle, which I think made him one of the greatest athletes in the history of North Kingstown High School, and certainly one of the most popular. Unfortunately, those traits never came out on a basketball court. Like Cody, they gave you 5 and they used all 5 of them, right, Erica? That's what you're supposed to do. Seriously, I'm honored to induct David tonight, as we have a personal history that dates back actually before he was born. The story is that David's father, Tony, and I were teammates at Springfield College in the late 70s and played football together in Springfield. Tony was a dear friend during that time, along with my wife Judy. We all went to Springfield together and hung out for many years. And when we graduated, we both went on our way to the college football coaching world. Tony went to Central Connecticut, I went to Syracuse and Coast Guard, and we kind of lost touch with each other a little bit along the way. Little did I know that the guy from upstate New York, me, and the guy from Franklin, Mass, Kim, would reunite in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. And when we did reunite, that I had the opportunity to be around his daughter Emily for her 4 years of high school, to work with the best coworker in the world in the pooch, Robin Dorico over here, and have the cherished opportunity to coach David Dorico for 4 years ago. The Doricos and the Kenyans will be forever linked. We've been great friends, and Robin and Tony and I and Judy, and now that they've moved to Plymouth, it's even better. We live in Hyannis, we get together all the time. We actually went back to our roots a few months ago and went to a Steely Dan concert. And thought we were 21 again, and then when we walked out, realized we're in our 50s, we better stop doing this stuff. David DeRico, and the two sports that he loved the most, football and baseball, never played on a freshman team, never played on a JV team. He was a varsity athlete from the first day he walked onto those particular sports. He immediately made his mark at North Kingstown in football. In football, he was a starter in his freshman year. He was having a great year, and unfortunately he tore his ACL against Tiverton in the homecoming game in his freshman year. He wouldn't finish that season. During his sophomore year, he came back and played primarily linebacker, although he played a little bit of fullback for Joe Davies because I was on sabbatical that year, and had a great sophomore year and a great comeback year after his knee surgery. But in his junior year is when everybody found out who David DeRico really was. He came to light, and we came back as a coaching staff, and we installed a single wing offense, an offense from the 1920s. It was built on having a tailback that could throw. It was tough. It could run. It was a leader, and we knew we had David DeRico. And the counterpart was to have what we called the blocking back of the Q guy, was Cody Norman. We had the two cornerstones of running that offense that year. His junior year, he had 16 touchdowns. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. He was first team All-Division. He was first team All-State. And we all anticipated what would happen in his senior year. Little do we know that in his senior year, he would take not only Rhode Island, but New England by storm. In his senior year, it was magical. He rushed for 2,078 yards and 24 touchdowns in his senior year from the single and tailback position. He threw for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns in his senior year as well. And during the course of that year, he set records for our season mark for rushing yards of the 2,078, and also became the career rushing leader at North Kingstown with a total of 3,442 yards total. Those records still stand today and are on the record board in the gym at the high school. He also, as I said, threw pretty well. He was a very good passer from the single wing as well, and he used to hit Romo all the time. Romo was a great tight end for us, Ryan Morris, and they were a great combination. And at the end of the year, all we did was go to chicken dinners because David won every award there was to win for Island. He was named first team All-State. He was the Gatorade Rhode Island Player of the Year. He was the Providence Gridiron Club Player of the Year. He was the Works Unlimited High School Athlete of the Year, which was great because he did it with Elizabeth Beisel. They were co-winners, and Elizabeth and David were honored that night in West Warwick, which was great. In baseball, Kevin Gormley refers to him as the most dominant offensive player in the history of North Kingstown. He was in 4 years, he was a starter, and as I said, never played JV or freshman. He was All-State in both his junior and his senior seasons, and he still holds career baseball records at North Kingstown for RBIs with 118, hits 134, and 102 runs scored. He also has the season record in home runs, which he had 8 in his junior year. Romo tied that in his senior year, right, Romo? I think he did. I think Romo had 8 in 2009. And he also led with slugging percentage of .833 and an OPS. Think about this for a second. David DeRico played 4 years of high school baseball. His career batting average was .393, and as a pitcher, his ERA was 1.74. Incredible when you think about that, 4 years. These statistics are incredible, but I really choose to focus on the other things about David DeRico that I just love him so much about. And I think those are wonderful things, but I think it's his personality and the person that he is that makes him who he is and why we're honoring him here tonight. As I said, he was a throwback to the old school. He's an old soul. He is. He's just like his dad. He's a spitting image of Tony. And he's an old soul, but he fit into an old offense, which made him very successful in high school. And I'm going to tell you, we designed our offense completely around number 6. Everything we did revolved around number 6 and where we were going to put him to the best, to make ourselves most advantageous to win. The luxury that we had in his senior year was that we never had David play defense. He only played offense, so we kept his legs fresh during the course of the game. So when he came out on offense, he was ready to roll because he didn't have to play both sides of the ball like a lot of our guys did. Unfortunately, we ran into a stumbling block when Romo got hurt at the end of the year, and David had to play linebacker for the last 2 games, and things would change a little bit. I would say that probably one of his great characteristics is he was the best teammate anyone could ask for. And think about that. As successful as he was as an individual, he was a great teammate. He loved playing with his friends. He loved practices, he loved games, he loved all the things that went with it. And all those guys, and many of them were here tonight, between Romo and Cody and Worm and Nunez and Blaze, Derek de Blasio. Where are you, Derek? Stand up, you handsome young man. AB, McDevitt, all the guys were there for him. Robbie, Chris Hess, all those guys. He loved being with those guys every day and being a part of what they did in the locker room. And he's maintained all those friendships since his graduation. I'll never forget in the Hendricken game when we had to win to clinch a playoff berth. Late in the game, David had been pulled from the game, and Worm, Ryan McDermott, intercepted a ball down deep in the territory. Hendricken tried to score, and Worm made a great run, was weaving through things, going down, all of a sudden the flag goes flying in the air. 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty on David DeRico. Now the interesting thing about it is, David wasn't on the field. And Worm intercepted the ball in the other 20. David ran with him the length of the sideline, all the way down to almost to the end zone, and got flagged for being out of the coach's box and everything else. And as you can imagine, if you know David DeRico, I'm pissed. You know, we're thumping Hendricken, which I love doing. I'm sorry, I can say that now to you Hendricken people. I apologize, but I don't give a damn. So David comes up to me and he's got a 15-yard penalty. Worm's pissed off, and I said, David, what are you doing? He looks at me with that grin of David DeRico and says, Coach, was that a bad thing to do? Just had a way of diffusing every situation he got mad. His relationship with Cody Norman was something very special. Best of friends and teammates who went on to play Division I baseball at Hofstra together, and they remain close today. I look forward to when Cody is inducted in this Hall of Fame. And in the future, he was an outstanding athlete and also an all-state athlete with David in both football and baseball. And while I'm at it, get Ryan Morris in there too. He deserves to be in this Hall of Fame as well. My most emotional memory of David was after our playoff loss to LaSalle in his senior year. After the game, David played his heart out. He had a high ankle sprain. He played both ways, as I mentioned earlier. He played linebacker and played tailback for us that night. And at the end of the game, he was hugging and crying and hugging his teammates, his coaches, his family, his friends, and everybody else. And when I went up to hug him at the end of the night, he said, Coach, I can't take off my helmet. And I said, why? And he said, because it means my career is over. I need to keep my helmet on. I'm still a football player if I've got my helmet on, Coach. And he knew that he was going on to play baseball in college, and this would probably be his last competitive football game. He wore that helmet on the bus the whole way home. He didn't take it off until he got in the locker room, and he finally had to take that thing off, which signaled the end of his career. That's the kind of guy that David DeRico is. Because of my relationship with Tony DeRico, his dad, and his incredible bond with his son David, I wanted to give him a unique opportunity tonight to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, my teammate, Tony DeRico.
You know, Keith, when he asked me to say a few words, I started thinking, it was the first time I met Keith. You know, we've been close friends for almost 40 years now. That's a long time. We used to be the young guys, now we're the old guys. But I just have a few comments that I want to say, particularly to the ex-athletes in the room, in particular that class of 2009. I'm here to tell you you're special. And you're special because you played high school sports, and high school sports are tough nowadays. Some of you went on to play college sports, and that's even tougher. I can remember the summer before David attended Hofstra. He said to me, he goes, Dad, I want to play baseball, but I want to play football too. And I looked at him and I said, really? You know how hard that's going to be? So he continued to focus on baseball. But I want to remind you that there's a type of magic that your team may have had. You know, where it's team first, personal accomplishment second. This sort of special magic many times only happens once in a lifetime, and for some it never happens at all. It's when it's a type of tenacious love and respect and responsibility that you have for each other as players. I can tell you here today that Coach K and I had that special love and respect and responsibility for each other with a handful of other guys back at Springfield College. I'm also here to tell you that that friendship that you made with your teammates is going to last forever. This guy is going to be one of my closest friends till the day I die. Funny thing is, you know, coaches can spot that special magic when it happens. I can remember early in the 2008 football season, Danny Blaze went down early in the game, and it appeared to be a pretty serious injury. You could have heard a pin drop in the stadium that night. And every single teammate came with their hearts in their throat to cheer Danny on. And it hit me, and I know I hit coach at the same time. I said to myself, this is going to be one special team and one special season. So to that team, in that class, Worm, Danny, Austin, McDev, Dom, Romo, Derek, you guys are you're going to be special friends forever, and you'll always have each other's back. It's my main man, Cody Norman. Cody, I'm here to tell you, you're in the Tony Tirico Hall of Fame forever. You can get him in here. David, words can't describe how proud I am of you, and to have my special son, who played on a special team, was such a special friend and coach, was the thrill of my life. Thank you very much.
You gotta say, did I do something wrong here? No, you're good. In closing, David, I want you to know how honored I am to be here tonight to induct you into this Hall of Fame. I'll always cherish my opportunity to be your football coach, and I want you to know that I loved every minute of our time together. I'm actually prouder of you as an adult after watching you display courage and discipline these past few years. Our relationship always will be about mutual respect, love, and family. I congratulate you on this prestigious honor and welcome you into North Kingstown Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Coach Day. Thanks, Dad. I gotta be honest, I've never heard him speak other than singing Brown Eyed Girl on the mic. That's pretty good. You sounded good. Anyway, let me get serious. I'll be brief. I want to first tell you guys how privileged I feel to be here tonight, and how honored I am to join those that came before me, as well as the other inductees tonight. And congratulations to everyone else that's been inducted, into the Hall of Fame. I want to thank North Kingstown High School for putting on this special event. Where am I at? You guys know me. This is and I want to thank everybody that's in this room, because having all of you guys here is really what makes this night so special. And that's kind of where I want to go with this speech. And so now, in my everyday boring work life, uneventful, people ask me, do you miss playing sports? Do you miss football, baseball? And my answer to that is yes, of course I do. But what I really miss is the guys that I played with and the coaches that I played for. That bond that you make with the guys that you're competing with, it's something special. And the victories, the losses, you go through it together, and that's something that I'll treasure for my whole life. With many of the people that are in this room, it's really special. I won't wet on the shirt there. And to just go a little bit further on that, especially high school schools. We're from NK, we're homegrown. We know each other's families. There's a bond in this community. And if you don't buy that, look around the room. Look at how many people are friends and, been friends for years. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, it would be impossible for me to individually thank every person in this room that's helped me over the years. My mom used to joke around. She used to say to me, "It's a group effort raising Dave." Which, it's funny, but it's pretty true. So, that being said, to my teammates, coaches, family, and friends, I want to sincerely thank you all for everything that you guys have done for me. I do want to single out too to my mom and dad. You guys have loved and supported me, unconditionally through a lot of things, and I just want to let you know that I really appreciate that. And I love you guys. I'll be forever grateful for all you've done for me. So in closing, I told you I'd be brief. I'm really honored to be here. This is a special night, and I look forward to enjoying the rest of the night with you guys.
Congratulations, Dave. Our next inductee is Miss Samantha Morell, and her induction speech will be done by her golf coach, Mr. Dom Marcone.
Mike Harrington, I'm the second one to follow Coach Ken, so it was a difficult time to follow a great orator like Coach Ken. And I'd like to thank Coach Kenyon also, because back in 1994, he was intelligent enough to hire me as the head golf coach at high school. Thank you, Keith. And if it wasn't for Keith, I would have never came across the young lady, Samantha Morell, who I affectionately call Princess. When she was playing for me, I had two princesses. My daughter, she was number 2 princess. Now I told her she has bumped down the line because I had 3 granddaughters. So now she's 5th, my daughter's 4th, and we go up from there. It was an honor for her to call me back in March to ask me to induct her into the North Kingstown Hall of Fame. She is a special person. My first viewing of Samantha was, we had golf practice at North Kingstown, and we're around the 8th hole. And I don't know why, my grandma was playing with us, and he pointed over to the practice range. He said, see that little girl over there? She's going to be a star for you. I said, what do you mean she's going to be a star? She's probably not coming from North Kingston. She's probably visiting Greenwich or somewhere like that. And he says, no, she's North Kingstown. That was when she was a 7th grader. When she came as a 9th grader, she was a 4-year starter for us at North Kingstown High School. Her last 2 years, her junior and senior year, she was our number 1 golfer. She has many accomplishments. I've had some very good female golfers, the Rittman sisters, the Schick sisters, and Samantha rates right up there with them. Samantha was a 3-time individual state girls champion. Her sophomore, junior, and senior year. Her freshman year, she finished 3rd in the state. So she was in the top 3 as a freshman. Another accomplishment for Samantha was her senior year. She finished in the top 6 in the boys' state championship. Unlike some of the girls who played from the red tees, Samantha's senior year, she played from the white tees. She led she was 2nd in the state in scoring average with a 37.2. She was part of a team for 4 years that went 54-2 and won 4 divisional titles. She was also the MVP for the golf team 2007, 2008, and 2009. She was the Cox Sports Award winner for golf in 08 and 09. She carried this on to Old Dominion University, where she was the Conference Rookie of the Year in golf. She was also 2nd team All-Conference in 2010 and 2011. She was 1st team All-Conference in 2012. She also became the Athlete of the Year her senior year at the Female Athlete of the Year, senior year at Old Dominion University. Another accomplishment of Samantha's, she won a couple of women state amateur titles, but she has been to this point the only female golfer to win the Ocean State Women's Golf State Championship and the Rhode Island Women's Golf Association State Championship. She did that in, I believe, 2011. One of the things that she has accomplished beyond her golf is she has given back to the sport that she loves. She now works as a tournament director for Peggy Kirk Bell tournaments down in Greensboro, North Carolina. She is working with middle school and high school girls in golf. Another thing that is very impressive with Samantha, which goes beyond all of her accomplishments in golf. At Old Dominion, she was on the Dean's List in the fall of 2009 and 2011. She was also on the Dean's List in spring of 2011, 2012, and 2013. It is my honor, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Princess, Sam
Morrell.
Right, thank you. I really don't know how to follow that up. That was about all I was going to say in there too, Coach, about what I'm doing now. But I just want to start by saying thank you to the North Kingstown High School Booster Club and the athletic department. I'd like to thank the academy for this award. I'm very grateful for having grown up and playing golf for North Kingstown High School, and I love the fact that I get to go to work in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I get to tell everyone who asks me, yes, I'm from Rhode Island. I don't know what gave it away. I don't think it's my Rhode Island accent like that. I think I have a very neutral accent. But, yes, I work for the Peggy Kirk Bell Girls Golf Tour. I'm not sure anyone who knows who Peggy Kirk Bell is. That's why our tour has the name Peggy Kirk Bell. She was a great amateur golfer in the 50s, and she won the first LPGA titles that were available to women, and she was a great, she started one of the founding members too of the Ladies Professional Golf Association, and it was at her golf course. She owns Pine Needles in Southern Pines, and we get to have tournaments there for the middle school and high school girls that I get to work with. And it was at that golf course that the coach, who was at Old Dominion at the time, first came to see me play. And that's how I got recruited to play golf for Old Dominion, was at Pine Needles, the home of Peggy Kirk Bell. And it's very interesting how life has come full circle, and now I get to say that I work for the Peggy Kirk Bell Girls Golf Tour, and I am the tournament director there. So that's very special for me. It's very interesting how life has really come full circle. In closing, I would love to thank some special people that are here with me. My grandparents, my grandmother Barbara, first introduced me to the game when we went to go practice and take lessons at Fiddlesticks. If anyone remembers Fiddlesticks? Yes, but we never had, we weren't members anywhere, we weren't members at any country clubs. I grew up on the driving range, and I grew up taking lessons with my grandmother, who always wanted to play. She grew up, she had a bakery, that was her business, and she had an Italian bakery, and never got to play golf, always wanted to after she retired. And I went with her one day and took up the game from there, and I'm very fortunate. I'm very glad that I stuck with golf. I would not have had all the opportunities to do the things that I do and work with the people that I've worked with if it weren't for the game of golf. I'd also like to thank my mother, Francesca, who deserves a big shout out, who's taken me to every lesson I've ever had, taken me to every tournament. We traveled the country doing a lot of junior golf tournaments. I affectionately refer to as the volunteer assistant because I never asked for any of her information or any of her advice, but she was there volunteering that information today. Thank you to my volunteer assistant. My biggest supporter and my biggest fan will always be my mother. So everyone, congratulations to all the inductees that are here with us. This has been a very special night, and I'm very happy to be back in North Kingstown in Rhode Island. So thank you all.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our next inductee, Mr. Jeff Cammons, and his induction speech will be by Coach Kevin Gorman.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to speak on behalf of Jeff Cammons tonight. I was told in the fall that Jeff was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I was thrilled. As a young coach, we try to instill certain work ethic in your players on how to conduct themselves on and off the field. And I was extremely fortunate in my second year to have Jeff Cammons walk into our program. Jeff Cammons is one of the most offensive, talented players we've ever had. You just don't teach bat speed that Jeff has. He's also extremely athletic on the bases and was very solid behind the plate for us for 4 years. It's very rare that freshmen are able to play in our program. I think in the 12 years I was a head coach, we maybe had a handful, 5 or 6. But Jeff came in right away and proved that he needed to play, and we were a better team for it. He holds many offensive records. One of the things that I always stress, and Jeff will be the first one to tell you this, we always stress team before anything else in North Kingstown High School baseball program. And when I used to post the stats in the dugout, it was not really to show anybody who was doing anything, but the biggest stat we always talked about was the number below the W. And we tried together to work towards that goal to make that number go up. But constantly, stats can be a motivator and to show who's doing the things correctly. And with Jeff, it was always about his work ethic. His work ethic was second to none. He was always working on his craft 12 months out of the year. He was a good athlete. He probably could have excelled in a couple of sports in North Kingstown, but he chose baseball because he had a high level and ability to play at the Division I level, and he wanted to make sure he saw that through. I can read off a couple of stats that Jeff has. They're very outstanding. Some of the single season records he holds, he's the first all-time single season. He had 47 hits in 1 year. I mean, that's incredible. He has the second all-time batting average at 475. He's top 5 in 11 career statistics, all that count towards our team's success. Here's some of the important ones that I remember. Our team record during Jeff's 4-year period was 79-33. That's a 705 winning percentage. He played in 2 state finals. He never played in less than a quarterfinal game. He had 124 hits and 310 at-bats. He hit 400, and that's hitting 3 or 4 for the majority of those at-bats. Never, was he hitting 8 or 9? I couldn't afford to do that. Jeff was always at the top of the line. He was the first guy when we looked at offensive statistics that would score 30 runs and have 30 RBIs in a given year. Guys don't even get 20 hits in a year. He's doing stuff it was mind-boggling at the time. Jeff went on to have an all-star career in college. Again, he was an outstanding hitter and a threat on the bases. He was one of the key factors as to why the University of Rhode Island is one of the elite programs in the Northeast today. When Jeff was being recruited, in the Northeast, there wasn't a lot of scholarships being handed out to Rhode Island players. And a couple of my former players will tell you that. But Jeff had a high desire to play at the Division I level, and he accepted something less than probably it was worth, which really frustrated me because I played at the Division I level. I know what it takes to play at the Division I level, and I knew Jeff was going to have an outstanding career. But Jeff went on to prove everybody that he was worth the money and more. And we've got a lot of guys in this room that play Division I in our program, and they owe Jeff a bit of gratitude for paving the way for them. So, I think you guys owe him a round of applause. Jeff's a competitor, and that's why it wasn't a big deal for him. He just wanted an opportunity to play at the Division I level, and he succeeded. He holds tremendous records at URI. He played for a good friend of mine, Coach Foster, who's, can be tough, but is fair and appreciates a guy that's going to run through a brick wall, and that's certainly what Jeff did in his time at URI. I've been lucky enough to keep in touch with Jeff throughout his outstanding college career and now in his business career. He has developed into a fine young man, husband, and father. Congratulations. I am proud to have been his coach and now his friend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to congratulate and welcome Jeff Campbell to North Kingstown High School Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Coach. First of all, thank you to the Booster Club and the selection committee for including me in tonight's event. I really appreciate it. It's a great honor. Baseball has always been a huge part of my life, and it was my life for the better part of 8 years, high school and college. And to be up here tonight is really an honor, so thank you again. I really need to congratulate Coach Gormley on his induction, and Dave DeRico. We spent a lot of time together on the field. And thanks, guys. It's been special, that's for sure. Thank you, Coach Gormley, Coach Clays, Coach Uchi. You guys are hands down the best coaching staff in the state. It's really been amazing to play for you guys. It's not just the level of knowledge that you have for the game of baseball. It's more so your ability to get the most out of all your players. And that's something special, especially at the high school level. Like I said, it's really testament to their hard work and dedication to their players. That's why there's so many guys, a few in this room, who have gone on to play Division I college baseball. It's not a coincidence, it's what these guys have done on and off the field for us. I also want to thank my teammates that I played with during my 4 years at North Kingstown, some of which are here tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of individual aspects to baseball, but most importantly, anyone that knows the game well knows it's a team sport. And I wouldn't be up here, I wouldn't have had the success I had without some of the guys in this room. We were fortunate enough to enjoy a lot of W's throughout the years on the field. That's really what it's all about. Sometimes we had too much fun. I remember one time me and Dave DeRico were in my Jeep Liberty, we decided to drive into a retention pond, but let's say they're getting over there, I guess. Most importantly, I really need to thank my parents. I'm so lucky and fortunate to have such amazing parents who have been with me every step of the way, supported me the way they have. From the time I started playing as a little kid to the last game of my college career, I honestly don't know if they missed a game, which is truly special. No matter what they had going on, they always made me their priority, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And looking back at my career, it's even more special. Over the years, I'd say my dad probably spent over 1,000 hours with me on the baseball field, and that's probably why he can't hold his right arm over his shoulder anymore. And my mom was there every step of the way. I'm very grateful for the way they've always had my back throughout the years and today. Not only in athletics, but in every aspect of life. Thank you again to everyone who had a part in hosting the event tonight. Very honored to be part of the North Kingstown Hall of Fame. Go Skippers.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our next inductee, Ms. Jill Novosad, and her induction speech will be by Coach Julie McGuire.
Mark Twain's quote, "It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog," best describes Jill Novosad. I met Jill in middle school as a scrappy point guard on Mr. Kerwin, the Davisville Middle School girls basketball team. What I remember most, her incredible work ethic, how very little she spoke to me, the big smile continually on her face, and her small stature. Fast forward to high school, when she began to play field hockey. The unyielding work ethic was still evident. She still wouldn't speak to me. The smile was more apparent, and she had grown. She was now over 5 feet. She was the smallest player on the field as a freshman varsity starter, but her work ethic, combined with her competitiveness, made her an impact player immediately. Her love of the game and her yearning to learn new techniques enabled her to bring her level of play above most others in the state. As only a sophomore, she was selected by the United States Field Hockey Association to compete at the national level in the Futures National Program. Then, and even today, it is the pipeline to the Olympic team. Jill competed against the very best in the country. As a result of her hard work and dedication to the sport, as well as her overall talent, she was selected to participate in the Junior Olympics in 1994. Jill went on to compete in 3 national futures tournaments while at North Kingstown. She really came into her own during her junior year, however. After losing a heartbreaking state final in 1993 as a sophomore, she had the determination and confidence to be North Kingstown's biggest threat on the field. All the opposing coaches knew of Jill and tried to figure out some way to contain her. Her greatest assets were her elimination skills and her ability to distribute the ball to her teammates. Jill garnered first-team All-State honors during that year. She saved the best for last. In the fall of 1995, Jill was selected as a captain of the team. She was the quiet leader who led by example, still one of the hardest players on the team. Right alongside with her were her childhood friends. In fact, the same members of that middle school basketball team from Davisville came on to play at North Kingstown High School. This gritty group of young ladies completed the season with a 17-0 run record and captured the Rhode Island State Championship by defeating Pilgrim. Jill was named the state's most valuable player and again was selected to first-team All-State. As you can imagine, Jill was a sought-after field hockey player on the Division I collegiate circuit. She carried her stick off to James Madison University, played for a nationally ranked program. Not many players in Rhode Island can say the same. I had the pleasure of Jill giving back to the North Kingstown field hockey program as an assistant coach for 2 seasons in 2002 and 2003. Coincidentally, North Kingstown captured the title both of those seasons. She may have even uttered a few words to me during that time. All kidding aside, it is a pleasure and honor to present Jill Novosad to the North Kingstown High School Hall of Fame.
Words tonight, 2 pages worth. Thank you to Julie and the choir for those kind words and for being such an influential part of my field hockey career. As a coach, you fostered and facilitated a passion for playing field hockey that I will be forever grateful for. I would like to thank everyone involved in the nomination, organization, and presentation of this prestigious award, most notably the North Kingstown High School Athletic Department, Boosters Club, and Hall of Fame Selection Committee. I am very honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know many other accomplished athletes, coaches, and community members have been honored before me, and I am proud to be among them tonight. As I have been reflecting upon my athletic career at North Kingstown some 20 years ago, I am humbled and appreciative to everyone who made all my athletic dreams possible. Somewhere behind the athlete you've become, and the hours of practice, and the coaches who have pushed you, is a little girl who fell in love with the game and never looked back. Play for her. Give me a hand. From the first time I played field hockey in the 8th grade, to my final game as a senior at James Madison University, I loved playing field hockey. It was one of my life's true passions, and I always welcomed the opportunities as well as the challenges, both on and off the field. Hard work, dedication, and commitment made me the determined and focused athlete that I still am. That being said, my athletic journey and subsequent successes were influenced by those who supported me most throughout the wins and the losses. Without them, I never could have realized my dreams. First and foremost, I would like to thank my parents, Mary and Dean, for their unconditional support and love. They taught me never to quit, and they pushed me to understand the true meaning of hard work and dedication. To my gracious sister Jen, who was a senior on the team when I was an inexperienced freshman. There are truly not many sisters out there as kind and supportive as my sister, my hero, Jen. To my sweet baby brother, Dean, who took persistent punishment from me, the not so kind sister. To my driven and dedicated husband, Drew, who has never seen me play field hockey, but who has been my teammate long enough to understand my fierce determination and will. Thank you to all my family, friends, and teammates who have enthusiastically supported my athletic endeavors throughout the years, always cheering and always ready to give a post-game hug. Thanks to all the coaches who shaped and molded me into the player and person I am today, especially my North Kingstown coach, Julie. And lastly, to my heart and my soul, my 3 children, Pierce, Owen, and Anya, I hope that someday you find your passion and you follow it with reckless abandon. May you know the value of hard work in pursuit of your dreams, and may you also feel the sweet satisfaction of success. Thank you again to everyone who made this honor possible. I am truly humbled and beyond grateful to accept this award.
As I said when I talked about Joanne earlier, I started North Kingstown in 1985, and I'd like to believe that the department was pretty strong, we were successful, we started winning some championships and facilities, that kind of thing. But it all really changed in 2004. And that's when Leslie Buckley took over as the secretary of the athletic department. And at that time, when she did, she only had the title of secretary. She was an assistant athletic director. That's what she was. And sometimes I thought that I worked for her. But it's okay because that was a relationship that we had. From the time she started with us, it was always about pursuit of excellence. Leslie was constantly talking to me, how do we get better? How do we make this better? How do we tweak this? And we constantly had meetings, and we talk into the night just to make things better for our athletes and our coaches, and I felt that we worked very well together. She started in our school department working for Lynx for 8 years, and then she moved to the main office in 2002 after we opened up the new high school the year before. She was always a supporter of our athletic department because she had 3 kids. She had Kate, she had David, and she had Megan. They were all successful student athletes, and Leslie was tied to her kids wherever they went and very involved. She took on key roles with our booster club. She used to run the annual calendar sales every year that the kids would sell door to door and plan that strategy. And it raised the revenues to a level that the booster club had never known before because of Leslie's leadership. She became the treasurer and the secretary of the booster club, and she worked passionately to give our athletes better funding, better facilities, and better opportunities. When she started the athletic department, but I had to be a little cagey because I had a secretary at that time and I had to work my way through that one. But after that, in my consideration, we landed the greatest free agent in the history of high school sports. The kids called her Mrs. Buck. Her office was right across the hall from mine in the new building. And it was fun because her office was a hub of activity all day long. From the time she got in the morning until nighttime when she left. And there were kids in there that were getting a good pat on the back and some encouragement to stay with it. And there were some kids in there getting their ass kicked by Mrs. Buck. Because if you weren't a team player and you thought about yourself more than you thought about the team, Mrs. Buckley was going to tell you about that and tell you how to change your ways to be a better athlete and fit into the mold that we had tried to push. She also was a person that had lots of potato chips in her office. That was her go-to food during stress times, right, Leslie? Potato chips was her go-to food, and then she trained legions of kids to come in when they're having a bad day to come in and have potato chips with Leslie. When she started with us, our coaches found out really quick, and in particular an Irishman by the name of Charlie Briggy, don't piss off Mrs. Buck. If you don't have your paperwork in, you don't do your work, you're going to hear about it because you're going to get straightened away. And Charlie finally gave up the fight after a while and just submitted to Mrs. Buckley. The things that are at the high school now, the Hall of Fame display outside the library, all those plaques that adorn that hallway all the way down there, that was a ton of research, redoing plaques, doing things. That was Leslie Buckley. She and I worked countless hours in the summertime organizing the plaques in the cafeteria. Remember Leslie? Laying them out on cafeteria tables, and she created that hallway of success. She was the prime mover in this event of making the Hall of Fame a first-class event. And then she took our senior athlete appreciation dinner to a level that we had never known before. And the reason it went there was because she cared about all the little details, but more importantly, she cared about our kids. And she wanted that night to be a memorable experience for every athlete in the room, whether you were the star player or the last person on the bench, and she wanted the parents to know that as well. So she made the senior athlete dinner what it is today, and Leslie, you did a great job of that. Thank you very much. whatever it took, Leslie put in the time, and she was at school at some ungodly hours to make sure that we got things done, to make things right in our department. She put in all the time that she was asked for, and she probably, I think, made us the best athletic department in the state, because during her tenure, the times we worked together, we became the very best during that time. I have to say, politically, the school department made a huge mistake when they eliminated that position. I believe to this day that Leslie Buckley was NK Athletics and still is, and always will. I know that I'm really fortunate to have her as a dear friend and to have the opportunity to work with her so closely for 6 years. She's a wonderful mother that supports her children and now her grandchildren. And we all know she was a rock during Dave's battle with cancer. When he eventually passed, she modeled to her kids how you behave and how you handle adversity through tough times. They were a tremendous team, and Dave is sorely missed. She's tough, but she's passionate, she's loving, and she came from the bucket of Pawtucket to the Hall of Fame. That's why I call her the old buck story, is the bucket to the Hall of Fame. It's a great path. I truly cherish how our families have grown together, Leslie, during the last 16 years, and our daughter's having kids now, and we used to talk about sports all the time. Now I'm talking about his grandchildren and babysitting and potty training and those kinds of wonderful things. So we have gotten old, Leslie, unfortunately. In closing, I'd like to sincerely thank the Booster Club. This is a great honor for Leslie, and I'm so happy that she's being inducted into this Hall of Fame tonight. She's earned this distinction by her never-ending commitment to the North Kingstown Athletic Department and the community as a whole. And this Hall of Fame would not be complete, in my opinion, if Leslie Buckley wasn't in it. So I'm proud to call her a friend, proud to say that I work so closely with her and our families are so tight. But tonight, I'm proud to say she's a Hall of Famer. Leslie Buckley.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. I have attended and maybe even run a couple of these nights, and I know how difficult it is to pull it all together. It's not easy. Thank you to Howie and Chris for everything you've done for all of the nominees tonight. Thank you to Aaron, once again, the best videos ever. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, the selection committee for including me in this. And I have to thank Jack Hine. Jack, where are you? Jack, with no slight to the rest of the committee, Jack, you are the heart and soul of this Hall of Fame. You show up every couple of years, Jack starts coming around. It's that time. We need to start thinking about it, and Jack really is the match that lights the fire under this Hall of Fame. And he's also a Hall of Fame member, and he also gave the best acceptance speech ever. So thank you, Jack. Last but not least, thank you. Congratulations to all the fellow nominees. It is a privilege to be included in your class. I will say that I'm probably the least athletic person here tonight. So, unlike most of the people in this room, I did not want to be an athlete when I grew up. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a mom to stay home with her kids. And I did. My loving and supportive husband wanted me home as well. He worked 2 jobs so that I could do that. We had a great agreement. He made the money and I spent it. I was their mom, I was room mom, I was team mom, I was den mom, I was whatever mom I needed to be at the time. After Dave's diagnosis, I knew that my mom at home days were over and I needed to, in my words, put my big girl pants on and get back to work. Just at the time I was looking for a real job, a job at the high school opened up, worked in the front office. I was lucky enough to get that job, and 2 years later I was lucky enough to get the job as Pete's secretary. It was July 23rd, 2004. I got the job. It was my birthday, and it was the perfect fit. It was kids and sports. what I loved most. I can't even believe they gave me a paycheck for it, but they did. And like I said, it was the perfect job combining kids and sports, my two favorite things. I was surrounded by kids all day, every day. My office door was always open. There was a chair there. There was always somebody sitting in it, usually Daddy Blaze. When I threw her out, send her back to class, somebody else already showed up. The kids brought with them an endless supply of energy and enthusiasm. They didn't take anything seriously. They could turn anything into a competition, and they made a lot of noise doing it. The school day was mostly quiet, but once that bell rang at 1:30, 1:45, whatever school day we had, it was pandemonium. They would all descend from wherever they were. They had 15, 20 minutes. It was like outdoor recess. They had to catch up with each other. They had to figure out what the plan was, who was driving, where they were going, where the practice was, where the game was, whatever. They hadn't seen each other since lunch, so they had a lot to catch up. But it was total chaos. And after a while, they all settled in and got to where they were supposed to be. But it was like a revolving door. One door opened, one door closed, one practice ended, another one began. And a bus came, kids got dressed, games, practices. In a word, it was fun all day long. I loved it. And after work, it was off to whatever game was playing that night. If it wasn't my own kids, it was somebody else's. I was their biggest fan, and they never disappointed me. High school kids come in all shapes and sizes, but on the inside, they're all pretty much the same. They have so much hope, so many dreams. The whole world is in front of them. They want to do it all. They come in as freshmen. They're a little intimidated by the size of the school and the size of the upperclassmen. There's a big difference between the seniors and the freshmen. Before you know it, they're large and in charge and making their own way in the world. When sometimes things are difficult at home, it wouldn't take too much to cheer me up. A smile, a wave, a cup of coffee from Jitters. They all knew what I drank, and they all knew when I needed it. The kids could brighten my day and any other adult who needed a little break from being an adult. High school kids are the best, mostly because they think that those years are the best years of their life, and all the adults just shake their heads and say, you have so much more in front of you, but this is the good start. Over the years, many people have said to me that, oh, it's so good for you, it's so good what you do. And I would think to myself, yes, it is good for me. They are good for me. And the kids were so good for me. And I will never forget those years. Besides the kids, though, my job at the high school has given me the opportunity to work with some very special people, many of whom are here tonight. People who once were co-workers and now friends. The coaches, the PE teachers that surround my office, the class advisors who spend so much time coordinating their activities and want to do everything right for their class. All of them, they give so much of themselves, more than you can ever imagine. The Booster Club members, the parents who give so much of their time during all 3 seasons, not just for their own kids, but for everybody's kids. They have full-time jobs during the day, and at nighttime, they're back at the school. They're inside, they're outside, they're collecting gates, they're working in the concession stand. They never said no. I was very proud to be a part of such a successful organization and probably the best booster club in the state. At the top of the list is Keith Kenyon. Keith was a tireless worker. I knew that from working with the Booster Club. I thought you were the one who always wanted to make things better and always wanted to change. We would have a sports awards night and we hadn't even put things away. He was already had his notes down. Next time we have to do this and this and this. And okay. We were a good team. We worked side by side. We worked in separate offices. We did the divide and conquer approach. We didn't have to do everything together. We did what we were best at. The most impressive thing was about Keith was that he did this for other people's children. His girls and his wife in Westerly were so much a part of North Kingstown, they should have gone to North Kingstown. But he did everything for our kids. If there was something better out there, Keith was going to get it for our kids. If there was a better program, a better uniform, a better helmet, anything that was going to make the quality of our kids' athletic experience better, he wasn't going to rest until it was done. But the best part about Keith, he is such a people person. He genuinely cares about everyone that he meets. You are not a casual friend in Keith's life. He's in 100%. It's a lifetime commitment. Keith was always by my side, and I'm very lucky to have him as one of my dear friends today, no matter where he lives or where he works. It is very difficult to not have my husband here with me tonight. He is such a big part of who I am and why I am here tonight. When he would come home from his trips, out the door I went. It was time for me to be me, and he appreciated me, and he valued me, and he's the reason I am here tonight. Over the years, my children and I have learned to hurt a little less and appreciate our memories a little bit more. And like everything over the past several years, everything has come easier because of the special people in my life, the people who are here with us tonight. My friends and co-workers at the high school, especially those Wonder Women in that front office, and my new friends in the guidance department that I am very fortunate to spend my day with. My dear friends who have been with me through thick and thin, good and bad, and are no longer friends, but now they're family. My wonderful neighbors who are so good to me and usually know I need something before I know I need it, but they are always there for me. My brother and sister-in-law have been by my side as long as I can remember, and were there when I needed the most. And my dad, who is the heart and soul of our family, don't let his youthful appearance fool you, though. My dad is a very proud World War II veteran. He is a grandfather of 5, a great-grandfather of 6, and this summer he will turn 90 years young. To my children, I hope you know how proud I am of what you have become and what is still yet to come. Being a stay-at-home mom was the best decision Dad and I ever made, and if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Mostly, I am still and always will be your biggest fan. And as for my 3 little granddaughters who are not yet quite ready for prime time, they are just the icing on the cake. And like Keith said, everything they say about grandparents and grandchildren, it's true. It is the best ever. Ironically, my job in the athletic department, while probably the best job of my life, came at the worst time in my life. But without it, I never would have made it through such a difficult time or made the special friends I am so fortunate to have. Because it's really not about the job, it's not about the paycheck, it's about the people who come into your life and into my heart. People who have done more to support me and my family than I can ever repay. And for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I am truly blessed to have all of you in my life.
I just want to say it was a pleasure coaching Kevin. He's a tough guy, and really had a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.
Well, the meeting, my girlfriend's here, so that knows the whole reason. I don't know, it's just not easy for me to come up here and do this with Kev. It's a big deal. Everybody's been talking about how it's hard to follow people that are really good speakers. Try presenting for the person that's probably the most prepared person you've ever met in your entire life. He's been going over his speech about 2 hours now. And, you know, I'm trying to copy and trying to be as prepared as I can. I'm hoping that my font's big enough now because I was trying to get it all on one sheet of paper to make sure that I could be as efficient as possible. Keeping on Coach Gormley time the best we can. If anybody's ever played for him, knows Kevin, know Coach Gormley time. I mean, I even put gel in my hair for this. I'm trying to be really prepared, Coach. So, first things first, I want to congratulate all the other inductees tonight on this tremendous honor. I'd like to thank the Booster Club, everybody at North Kingstown Athletics for putting on this great event. Howie, thank you for emceeing and putting up with all my emails from Whitford. No, that's not easy either. It's a special year for baseball as well, with Dave and Jeff getting in, and Leslie's part of our baseball family as well. His son playing, so it's really nice to be a part of this evening. It's my pleasure, and I know it's Coach Clay's honor as well, to induct Kev tonight. Like I said, we'll keep it on Coach G time as best we can. So, when it comes to Kevin Gormley, there's a few words that come to mind. Talk about teacher, mentor, son, husband, father, friend, coach, and if you know Kevin, probably some other choice words too every now and then. teacher. He's been an outstanding teacher with an impeccable record for 16 years now. We were lucky, I'm not sure how many years it was ago now, Coach, but to lure him away from South Kingstown, going to be to NK. So it was really nice for us. He's obviously a tremendous mentor to all the students and players. He's a son, a tremendous son. His mother and father are here tonight, and it's a tremendous honor for them, I'm sure. His induction tonight and the way he's carried himself is a tremendous reflection on you and what a great job you did raising him. So congratulations to you tonight too. This award's just as much for you. Father, TJ and Meg. When you have a coach for a father, you know how it is. And he's a tremendous father. He's a tough father, but a fair father, and he's a great father. And I know right now he's in the middle of really enjoying those teenage years with I get to see it every day in practice. He's a husband. He's one of the, if not the best husband I know. Not mine, of course. I'm not going to but he's my baseball confidant. It's not easy to be a coach's wife, Jen, and you are basically part of the staff with us. It's a long season, and as Coach Clays has already eloquently put, it's actually an off season as well. So thank you very much, Jen, for all the help that you've given us over the years. Like I said, you're basically part of the staff, and I know Kev appreciates it, and he's lucky to have you. So, on that note, he's also probably, if not the best, one of the best friends you could ever have as a person. If you know Kevin keeps his circle pretty close, pretty small. But if you are lucky enough to be in that circle, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. He is literally there for anything you need, from advice. If you need help with a project, especially when it comes to cutting in a ceiling or painting, when I need a ladder, he doesn't. He's probably one of my first choices if I ever needed someone to walk down a dark alley with too. So, as a friend, it really doesn't get much better than that. And finally, we come to Coach. He is the definition of a coach. We are lucky that he decided to get out of the sales gig and get into his real call, that is teaching and coaching. And when I say he's a coach, I mean it from top to bottom. From the signature looks, when he gives you that chin that I can't even begin to try to impersonate, or if he just gives you that look, he says, "Are you serious right now?" And the players, you know that, coaches know that, umpires certainly know that. Okay? He's got a million catchphrases, some we can repeat, some we can't. So, at that point, when it comes to coaching, there's nobody that's more prepared than Kevin. Nobody that's more into it now. Nobody that holds it in higher regard, not just because, if we're playing a sport, we're coaching baseball, it's because it's important. Because he knows what the institution of sports means for kids, what it means for everybody involved, what it means to everybody watching. And that's a big deal. He's one of the smartest guys I know, not just as a coach, also as a person. I mean, he hired the world's best hitting coach, so that's one of the smartest things he's ever done. There are a lot of cliches that people use about coaches, and Coach Groman fits into some of them. You hear things all the time about, good coaches are measured, by their numbers, or a coach is only as good as their players. And there is some truth to that, there is. However, great coaches make good players better. Make good players great. Make great players stars, okay? And when you put all those people together, they can do great things. And that's what Kevin Gorman was able to do when he was the head coach at North Kingstown. Not only was he a great coach on the field and athletics, but he's certainly a great life coach for all these young boys. On that note, let's talk about some numbers real quick. 12 years as a head coach. 5 of those ended up with trips to McCoy Stadium in the state championship. 9 division titles from 2005 to 2014, including 8 in a row from 2007 to 2014. In the 1 year in between that we didn't win the division, we went to McCoy anyways. So we just thought we'd give somebody else a chance, I guess, that year. He had a 237.85 record overall. That's a 736 winning percentage. His record was even better in league at 787 winning percentage. And then when it really got tough in the playoffs, he had a 620 winning percentage. I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. I don't care what level you coach at, what sport you coach. That's impressive, and they speak for themselves. There's something that everybody, not just Kevin, but everybody that was involved in those teams should be very proud of. There's a ton of former players here tonight. Friends, parents of current players that we have, and it's a testament to him and how many people have showed up and come out on your behalf, Kev, so you should be very proud of that as well. I also don't want to forget about his time coaching with the basketball team. He's a key assistant on the basketball team for many years. He's a key contributor to a lot of successful seasons and title runs that they had. And there's actually a pretty good contingent of basketball guys here too. It's great to see them here as well, out support and coach. As impressive as those numbers are, Kevin is truly defined by much more important things than numbers. And that's, again, as I said, obvious by the amount of former players and supporters that he has here tonight. As I said earlier, a coach is only as good as their players. There's definitely truth to that. But as I said earlier, great coaches make them not just better players, but better people. And that's one thing I can't stress enough that Kevin did. Talking to the former players tonight earlier before we came inside and listening to where they are now, some of them, and what they're doing, I'm convinced they wouldn't be there without some of their experiences they had in baseball playing for Coach Gormley. They're doing tremendous, beyond tremendous. I couldn't be prouder of all of them, and I know that Coach can't either. To be successful at anything in life, you need to have a plan. Everybody's got one. Some are good, some are bad, some work, some don't. Nobody has a better plan and is more prepared than Kevin. I mean, anybody that knows him knows that. And I think we could all learn a lot from him. I know I still use it every day as a coach. I'm lucky enough to have him with me still, coaching. And I'm not going to lie, I copy a lot of it. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It works. His numbers speak for themselves. One of his favorite quotes on that note: failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Now, I should have known that half of my speech was in your bio written in the program. We joke about how much we think alike all the time. But he's like Coach Clay said, he's one tough SOB. He's as tough as they come. His teams took on his personality. He's so tough, he's able to pass that along to others, and they take on that persona, and that is not easy to do. That's a skill, really. And I'm talking not just physically tough, I'm talking mentally tough as well. We all know Kevin had his battle with cancer, and which he obviously has beaten and done a great job doing that. And when I found out that he got the diagnosis, I never even thought twice about it. I said, well, cancer has no chance, because this guy's just about the toughest person going, and now it's just an afterthought. The culture of respect that Kevin always created, it was undeniable. It applied to all the players, all the coaches, both on our team and on other teams. You hear all the time, respect all but fear none. And that's exactly what he taught, and that's exactly what we did. It also applied to respect the umpires most of the time. Not always, most of the time, depending on what type of day they were having. He would listen to his players. He would even, ask for their input on certain team decisions, especially the older guys as they get older, whether it's personnel or certain game strategies. He would give the voice to everybody. He was truly through and through a team guy. He always listened to his coaches. I mean, the man was a dream to coach for. I know that we always had as much voice in it as anything. There were some good disagreements, some, we'll use those stories another time, but heated arguments that turned out to be really good decisions, we'll put it that way. Like I told you before, he's smart. It was always a three-headed monster in our coaching staff. Everybody made the decision. Everybody had a stake in it. A lot of that decision went into these coaches meetings that we had. During those coaches meetings, we'd solve problems from the top of the batting order to the end of the pitching rotation. The Red Sox, we solved their problems. By the end of the day, we even solved half the world's problems. They would have just asked us, but nobody was calling the tap asking that question, so we're still waiting for that one. Finally, everybody who came through the program of NK Baseball while Kevin Gorman was there left a better person. And I believe that is his true great mark as a coach. They came in as teenagers. Some of them bigger, stronger, furrier face than others, not to mention any names, there we go. Others more innocent looking and younger, not to mention any names, LB. But they all left much stronger, wiser, more intelligent, and better prepared young men when they left NK Baseball. Didn't matter what career they chose or what path they chose to take in life, they were better off for having gone through Coach Gormley's system. He was a teacher, he was a mentor, he was a coach, and he was great at it, and he was great to work with. And without further ado, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, I'm trying to keep my Coach G time, to the most overqualified middle school assistant baseball coach in the state. Hall of Fame, Kevin Gorman.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me. The number of people in this room today. Just shows how important athletics is at this high school. Former players that are here tonight, just, again, overwhelming. I can't thank you enough for attending. I want to start off by saying, first of all, hang in there. After hours, it's at the Gormley's tonight, so you can hang in a little bit more. We've got food and beverage waiting for you. I want to start off by congratulating all the other inductees tonight. I was fortunate enough to have interacted with most of you as players and students, witnessed some of your great accomplishments as a fan, and worked as colleagues with you at North Kingstown High School. Jeff, David, Brett, Erica, Sam, Jill, and Leslie, you are all most deserving of this recognition. It is an honor to be part of the Hall of Fame class of 2016. I am completely overwhelmed and truly humbled for being recognized by the North Kingstown High School athletic community. It's very difficult for me to stand up here and be recognized, as there are so many other people that had major contributions to the program during my time as head coach. I consider this the best recognition of how Peter, Anthony, and I ran the North Kingstown High School baseball program for the 12 years we were together. During our 10 years as coaches, you were the only people that we ever wanted to please. I say we because without those two guys helping me during my coaching career, there's no doubt in my mind we have not been one of the elite programs in the state. Either one of them could be standing here in my place. They were labeled as assistant coaches in name only. If you ask any player or planner who was involved in our program, they would tell you that we had 3 head coaches. So tonight I'll be using the term we a lot when we're referring to the baseball program's success from 2003 to 2014, because Peter and Anthony deserve as much, if not more, credit for establishing the program the way we did over our tenure. When I was asked to help out the baseball program at North Kingstown High School back in 1997, the thought intrigued me. I never really thought of myself as a coach. I love sports and always considered myself as a person who would like to play rather than coach. I have to thank my wife Jen for encouraging me to start the NK baseball program, saying, "Why don't you reconsider? You might be pretty good at that." Well, I'm not sure how good I was at it, but I know I enjoyed sharing my knowledge with the players that I worked with. I enjoyed watching them compete and have success. I have mostly enjoyed watching them turn into the fine adults that they are today. As a group, we experienced many highs and some lows. But as a unit, I think we are all stronger today because of the experiences we shared together as coaches, players, and parents. Many people ask me what were the keys to our team's success, why we were able to compete at such an elite level for so long. My answer is pretty simple. We were always blessed with a core group of players who understood the importance of wearing the North Kingstown High School baseball uniform. That meant meeting expectations in school and on the field. It is my belief that if you surround yourself with good people, you can't help but be successful. Many times we had to make difficult decisions on players that had talent to be part of our team, but could not make the commitments to the things we stressed off the field in terms of being a role model for all student athletes at North Kingstown High School. Those decisions were extremely hard, but benefited the program so all student athletes understood what we expected from the members of our baseball program as student athletes. We made us proud each year. We always set felt a sense of pride in the product we produced on and off the field. And the very few times that we didn't, usually that was corrected by a couple of Coach Blaze's "see you laters," or "hope." I'm extremely pleased that the boys were able to carry on the tradition last season and win another division championship. I wish Coach Breitbach and the boys nothing but success this year and the years to come. So, some people have asked me, Coach, what are you doing yourself these days? I'm happy to report I've really cashed in on all those runner-up finishes from McCoy Stadium. Shortly after I stepped down, I was contacted by a headhunter from Buffalo. He asked me if I would be interested in speaking at some seminars and conventions. I was really excited at the prospect to share my knowledge I had with others in the baseball community. Alas, he told me I would not be speaking to baseball coaches or to males at all. He wanted me to share my experience and expertise on second place finishes to groups of women at bridesmaid conventions. I thought about this for a bit. I mean, I just stepped down from a sweet gig that paid me about $2.37 an hour for the last 12 years. So I jumped at the opportunity for the extra scratch. Some of my more popular seminars are, "It's not you, it's him." Just because your dress is blue doesn't mean your attitude has to be. Secret techniques in catching the bouquet. Outfield drills really help with that one, Coach. And by far my most popular, hairstyles and everything. Seriously, the last 2 years I've been lucky enough to work at my most important job in life, and that's being a good husband and father. The time I spent over the last 2 years with my wife Jen and my kids Megan and TJ have been invaluable. I wouldn't trade it for the world. To be able to go home and help out during the spring and attend my kids' games and practices meant the world to me. Megan and TJ have excelled in the classroom and on the field over the last 2 years. I couldn't be prouder of both of them. I was grateful to bear witness to all their accomplishments the last 2 years. At this point, I need to recognize the many individuals that have shaped and guided my coaching career, because it's extremely tough to make this look good. First off, I'd like to thank my mother Joanne and my father Bob for your love and support during my athletic and coaching career. You both stressed early on in life the morals and values needed to be successful. You instilled in me the belief that hard work pays off, and have tried to pass those lessons on to all my players. I know many a time I ruined a summer vacation dragging you to places like Bennington, Vermont, Harbor Day, Grace, Maryland, and Kissimmee, Florida. Right? Where the hell are those? Neither of you ever complained. You gassed up the car, booked the hotel room, and Mom, you always watched the team uniforms. When I expressed to you after a couple years working that I wanted to get into teaching, at 28 years old, you didn't bat an eyelash. You supported my career change because you knew that was going to make me happy. Thank you for being terrific role models, parents, and grandparents. Unfortunately, my brother Mike is away on family vacation and could not join us tonight, but I would be remiss if I did not recognize his support and loyalty over the years. Mike is a true friend, and you will not find anyone as loyal as he is. During my illness, he made my family have everything that they needed. He was a rock for my wife and my kids. I'm fortunate to have Mike as a brother. He always has my back no matter what. If you know Mike, he'd always give his expertise during state playoff time. He'd go scout some games and really had some insightful things to say, like, hey, that guy from Cranston West, number 3 hitter, he's big. Another one that really was helpful is, I saw Johnson play the other day. Do they have anybody but Italians on that team? All vital pieces of information with strategizing for our next opponent. I kid, but ultimately, Mike's best advice was always, dude, just go kick their ass. Sorry. I want to thank my friends in attendance tonight for your support throughout the years. You've all stuck by me whenever our family has needed you. Whether it's Sean Maloney and Bobby Downey, helping me as teammates, Joe Pez and Sean helping me as Little League coach, the Lindberghs putting up with my poor DJing skills, or my good buddy Paul O'Donnell, who would always pick me up after a tough loss to McCoy, to that team we won't mention tonight, with his classic bro, buddy, what are you gonna do? Freaking loaded. I would like to thank the Rhode Island Rebel baseball family for involving me in your organization. You all have terrific kids, and it's been a pleasure to watch them grow up and develop over the last 2 years. As much as it pains me, special thanks to Steve Jetson and Chuck Wentworth. You guys really pressed me to get involved, and I appreciate that. I was going through a pretty bad time, and it's been great for me. We've had some great times over the last 2 years, and I look forward for the years to come. I want to recognize a few former coaches that I played for who really shaped my values as a player. My junior high baseball coach was Bob Crosby. He was the first coach to hold me accountable for my actions and showed me how to respect the game of baseball. Did not play the game the right way for Coach Crosby, you sat behind him. I learned that talent and skill was not the only traits that made a complete player. Attitude and effort were just, if not more important. Coach Marty Deliveron and Jim Tapp guided me in my baseball and basketball career when our family moved to Connecticut my junior year in high school. I want to thank each of them for giving me the opportunity to develop my leadership skills in each program. They both had a tremendous impact on my athletic career at Avon High School. Finally, I need to thank my college baseball coach, Andy Baylock. Unfortunately, my college career was injury-riddled and it did not fulfill the expectations that I thought it would. Coach Baylock never gave up on me. He never cut my scholarship. His lessons of loyalty to players in your program, no matter what, pointed me in the right direction many times during my coaching and teaching career at North Kingstown High School when supporting my student athletes. I want to thank all the parents in the NK programs for their trust in Peter, Anthony, and I to teach your boys to play the game the right way. There are many long practices and seasons where we all were a bit stressed at times, but I always appreciated your dedication, understanding, and support of the program. Athletic directors, first I need to apologize because I know during the spring I am a gigantic pain in the ass. Yep. Leslie too, your assistant. You got named assistant tonight, I know you did that. Didn't come with a pay raise, did it, Keith? No. First off, Keith Kenyon, I owe you a tremendous amount of gratitude and I am loyal to you forever. You're a tremendous mentor and friend. Thank you for hiring me and encouraging me to make coaching and teaching a career. It's changed my life and made me a better person. I also need to thank you for picking me instead of Mike Rogers on your Friday morning team each week. You're with me in Friday morning basketball like a mule, but I think we were 127-2 during our playing days. And yes, I know the 2 losses are my fault. Aaron Thomas, you're a great mentor and friend. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the basketball program. You are the best high school basketball coach in the state of Rhode Island, bar none. I learned that preparation is everything to success from coaching in your program. I used many of those lessons learned with you during my coaching career. Jim Marcello I owe a little gratitude to. Jim's not here tonight. He was with us for a short time, but Jim was a loyal supporter of the baseball program and did a great job for NK Athletics during his time as AD. Finally, Howie Hay, a great friend. I have the utmost respect for your hard work and commitment to keep North Kingstown High School athletics as the best in the state. I've witnessed many times the countless hours you put in support of our student athletes and coaches. Athletics is a huge part of this community. Events like tonight showcase the fine student athletes we have produced over the years and the successes they have become. As we heard tonight, many of those successes all started with the values they learned at North Kingstown High School. Howie, thank you for carrying on the tradition. I was extremely fortunate to work with some great coaches at North Kingstown High School. All sports excelled at North Kingstown during my time in the baseball and basketball programs. I wanted to publicly thank Coach Kenyon, Thomas, Hay, McGuire, Tatro, Shabbat, Froberg, Downey, Higgins, Marco, Laverty, Kelly, and the late Joanne Fitz. We were a tight group that always supported one another, no matter what the season. You all excelled at your coaching craft, and I continue to wish you all the best. I want to thank all of my assistant coaches. There were so many people that contributed to our program at all levels. I need to thank all those individuals that ever helped our baseball program along the way. Thank you to Coach Mark Pollock, Crystal Blank, Ryan McDonald, Jeff LeBlanc, Chris Yole, Evan Cirillo, Mark Medeiros, Frank Fusco, and Chris Batzinger. Your contributions to the program never went unnoticed. I owe you my gratitude for the time and effort you put in implementing our program's values and beliefs as younger players entered our baseball program. The players, like I said, I'm overwhelmed. The amount of guys that came out tonight means the world to me. I'm always asked why we competed with the state's best, because I had great players. When I say great, I recognize we had many talented players, but baseball was important to every one of them. This allowed us as coaches to prepare you for success. Your hard work and dedication never went unnoticed. The sacrifices you all made at the end of the year during our social distractions was appreciated more than you know. A great example of this is every year at the beginning of the year, I get these other coaches and frantically call me to change a game because of a junior prom or a senior prom. And, you know, I would try to accommodate them the best I could, as long as it didn't screw up our pitching rotation. And then, you know, they would ask me, so when's your prom? I go, I have no idea. And they're like, what do you mean? I don't know. Well, why? I go, because baseball's way more important than life. And that wasn't for me, that was for my guys. I mean, what was it? Sure, it was 11, then we had some guys running for the prom after the game of McCoy. Right? It just, yeah, it was a constant thing. And you know, you guys need to be applauded for that. I mean, you put so much into it. You know, this is the best thing I can say, and I truly believe this. You have all had way more of an impact on my life than I ever could have had on yours. If there's anything you guys ever need, you call me, I will be there for you. Peter Clays and Anthony Ucci, it's tough for me to stand up here and be recognized when I know how much you guys did for our program's success. Peter and Anthony are bar none the best two assistant baseball coaches in the state of Rhode Island. Their wealth of knowledge and instructional skills are second to none. Either one of them could be standing up here being honored instead of me. We always made decisions together. They always had vital input and challenged me about game decisions. I appreciated that because it made our team and our program better. I can't thank the two of them enough for everything they did for the program. You two always have my back and are my best friends. You can't always count on me if you need anything. If I could ask one thing of the crowd tonight, it would be to give you guys the ovation that you deserve. My kids are my greatest accomplishment in life. I recognize that my biggest responsibility is to be the best dad you can be. Megan and TJ, I can't express how proud I am to be your dad. I know I can be hard on you at times. I just want the very best for both of you, and this is the only way I know how to do it. As I told my players many times, if I yell at you, it's a good thing, because I know you can do it. So when I stop yelling at you, is when you should work. And I see Coach McGuire giving me a head nod. It's like, she's a really good coach. Right? I tried like 5 or 6 times. She's at my daughter for one season. My daughter's got 1 state championship already. She's like, Dad, I don't see what the big deal is. Yeah, not that teaches any better. We were in a championship game in the fall for his travel team, and you know, we finally get to the finals, and we had lost the weekend before the finals, and kind of came over to me slowly and said, hey, big guy, why don't you sit this one out? He didn't. Fortunately, we won. Got the hardware, right, big guy? But, you know, well, likes to give me a dig, too. I appreciate all the sacrifices you two have made during my coaching career. I apologize for some of the games I've missed during those times. The last couple of years, being able to attend and participate in your events have been some of the best of my life. You both have great things that lie ahead in your future, and I look forward to bearing witness to all those accomplishments. I am so proud of you and love you both very much. My wife, Jen, is an incredible person and my best friend. Let's be clear. There would be no Coach G without Mrs. G. Every player here tonight should express their gratitude to my wife. Never once did she complain about the late practices, extended sessions, or the long coaches' meetings that you've heard about. She was our biggest fan. She has sacrificed so much for our family, words can't describe how I feel about her. People ask me if I ever have any regrets about our luck in the state championships. My response is always the same. I used up all my luck when Jen said she'd be my wife. There was that was cool.
He was doing so well until that.
She would be the first inductee. She was a rock for my kids and my family when I had my health issues. I couldn't be married to a better person. I love you and I'm forever grateful for your support during my life. Oh, thank Christ. In full. I'm sorry. People ask me, do you miss it? My response, hell yeah. But I wouldn't trade it for the experience that I've had now watching my children play and passing on my knowledge of the great game of baseball so younger players know how to play the game the right way. Coaching and teaching have changed my life and made me a better person. Please know how honored I am to be a part of the North Kingstown High School Hall of Fame community. Thank you for all your support during the years. I wish you all nothing but the best. Go North.